Hey everyone, decided to make a video on the latest Rex shares ETF, which is for there's four different ETFs, and they're double leverage ETFs on Tesla, as you can see here, and NVDA. One is long, one is short, and both, they target 200% on the long, following the direction of Tesla and NVIDIA, and the other goes 200% in the opposite direction of what's happening. So this is the website. As you can see, Rex Shares has, they have these four, then they have the FEPI that keeps popping up. So if we scroll down, and we're still waiting the other ones that are supposed to be competing with the yield max funds, but I haven't heard anything. So covered call ETFs, obviously these are not covered call ETFs. Here we go, single stock ETFs. It talks about, well, you have to click on it to review it, but this is the front website. So if you'd like to review, those in detail, I'm going to select the long Tesla one, and that'll bring us here, which talks about, okay, the T-Rex 2X long Tesla daily target ETF. Fund objective. Again, this is what matters. What's the objective of the fund? Why would I pay you money to do something? So the objective is seek daily leverage investment results, and is very different from most, obviously. As a result, the fund may be riskier. Just so you guys know, as I go through this, they're going to tell you how risky this is a million times, which is good because this is very risky. The fund's objective, there you go, is to magnify 200% the daily performance of the publicly traded common stock of Tesla. So that's basically it. If Tesla goes up 10% in one day, the idea is if you own this fund, you're going to be up 20% that day. Or if Tesla goes down 10% that day, you'll be down 20%. All right. I guess it's out. The NAV is 2034, current price 2046, priced pretty low. What else? So the expense ratio, which we'll go into too, is 1.05%. So, that's high. There's the prospectus link and the fact sheet. And we'll get into that in a second. Fund holdings. I guess that's their ETF for the Tesla. And that's it. So if I go to the prospectus, obviously it'll bring up, this here, which is for all four. But as always, I saved the file, and I did some highlighting, and I will put this in my Discord, which reminds me I have to update the link on my Discord. And I have a question for you Discord people. Is it common that the link that you share expires? I assume it is. So that's very annoying. And is there a way to get a link that does not expire? So if any of you know that, please leave a comment. So again, here's all the four. So again, 200% long Tesla. So it'll follow Tesla's movement 200%, 2 times. And then the other one is the opposite. It'll go down. It'll do the reverse. So if Tesla goes down 10% in a day, the inverse one will go up 20% for the day, if that makes sense. Same thing with NVIDIA. Again, I'm not going to repeat myself because the idea is the same of the two. All right, let me zoom in a little. Come on. Okay. This just talks about what it is. Okay, and here we go again. Not appropriate for investors who do not intend to actively monitor and manage their portfolios. These funds are very different. Yes, they are. Here we go. With respect to inverse funds, each fund pursues daily investment objective that is inverse, opposite to the performance of its underlying security, a result opposite, obviously. The volatility of the underlying security may affect the fund's return, which is this is the part that confuses me, and you'll see it in a little bit. But if the more volatile it is, the more you could lose money if you hold this fund. So during periods of high volatility, the fund may not perform as expected, and the fund may have losses when an investor may have expected gains if the fund is held for a period that is different than one trading day. So one thing you will notice with this fund, at least what I notice, again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just a random dude on YouTube sharing his journey on how to retire on dividends. And I like to talk about new funds that could help you retire. These are vehicles to our benefit, but we have to be smart about it. We have to be comfortable. We have to use it the right way. But I wanted to say these funds are more so for day trading and not for holding for longer than one day. Because if you hold it longer than one day, there's all these different things that can happen. Which, like, you could be up and then you go down if it's volatile. It doesn't make sense. Here we go again. The fund is not suitable for all investors. The fund is designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors. Whoa, sorry, right? Such as traders and active investors. Again, this is like a day trader's kind of dream right here. I am not a day trader, so this is not my dream. However, I still want to cover it because it does interest me. Investors who do not understand the fund or do not intend to actively manage their fund and monitor their investments should not buy the fund. Again, another warning. There is no assurance that the fund will achieve its daily leveraged or daily inverse leverage investment objective, and investment in the fund could lose money. So, again, these statements are all scary. Here's a I didn't highlight this. I highlighted this somewhere else, I think, but look at this part here. Read this. We'll highlight this baby pink. If a fund's underlying security moves more than 50% as applicable on a given trading day in a direction adverse to the fund, meaning like downwards, the fund's investors would lose all their money. So if you buy the long one and Tesla goes down 50%, they're saying you'll lose all your money because it'll be down 100%. So, yikes. But if it goes up 50%, you just doubled your money. That's the risk. Risk versus reward. Lots of risk here, lots of reward here. This prospectus is gigantic. Here you go. It breaks it down into the funds. Again, I'm only going to go through the T-Rex 2X long fund, okay? Again, fund's objective, magnify 200% daily performance, blah, 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 blah. An investor could lose, here we go. This is where I highlighted, lose all the principal if it falls by more than 50% in one trading day. Woo! Wow. The fund does not seek to achieve its stated investment objective for a period of time different than a trading day. See? This is why. You should not own this fund after hours. You buy it in the morning, you trade it for the day, and you sell it before the close. That's what I'm getting from this. The fees, 1.05%. I do not know what makes them deserve 1.05%, but maybe this is a little more complicated, than I think, but it seems like there's a lot going on, but it's just, I don't know, that's a lot of money. So more money. This talks about the 10,000 thing. And this says in investment swap agreements that provide the 200% daily exposure. So maybe it's for that expense. So I guess they have to get this through swap agreements. So the fund and the global financial institution will agree to exchange the return earned on an investment by the fund in Tesla that is equal on a daily basis of 200% of the value of the fund's net assets. So they're working with a global financial institution to make this work. So again, maybe that's where 1.05% needs to go. The impact of Tesla's price movement during the trading day will affect whether the fund's portfolio needs to be rebalanced. For example, if the price of Tesla has risen on a given day, net assets of the fund should rise. meaning that the fund's exposure will need to be increased. Conversely, if the price of Tesla has fallen on a given day, net assets of the fund should fall, meaning the fund's exposure will need to be reduced. I guess that, it talks about what can happen on a day in and day out basis. If the funds, again, they say this so many times, but they should. If the fund's underlying security moves more than 50% on a given trading day in a direction adverse to the fund's investors will lose all their money. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie. This talks about Tesla. See, this is like, look at this part. The fund will lose money if the underlying security performance is flat over time. And as a result of the daily rebalancing, the underlying securities volatility and the effects of compounding, it is even possible that the fund will lose money over time while the underlying securities performance increases over a period longer than a single day. What it's saying is if you own the fund, say, for a month and you're actually up, you're up 1%, you could lose money. The way how, again, I guess the fund rebalances and things like that. This is, this kind of gets into a chart. So basically, if the more volatile it is, the more likely you could lose money. So I think, look at this, look at the 0%. If you hold this fund for 1 year, if we go across, see the 0%, and you're up, and it's volatile. The volatility rate is 10%. You're automatically losing 1%. And then again, this is your return. So look at the 1 year return is 0% down, and let's say the volatility rate, Tesla's about 50%. So you would lose 5.8% if you're flat. Like if Tesla stayed flat and you held this fund for a year, you would just lose 5.8%. Based on how the fund works. And let's look at return of, let's say you gained, Tesla went up 50%. So we go to the 50% volatility, you would make 75.2%. Okay. So in that way, it worked for you. It worked in your favor. So again, you have to know how the hell these funds work because it is crazy. 60%, 50. I mean, this chart is, I don't know. I'm not a day trader, and I don't pretend to be one, but this one is very, very complex. And yeah, so that's all I did on the prospectus. Again, I'll save this in my Discord under the files channel. Let's go back to the website. And let's just check out the fact sheet. Again, the fact sheet is always, if you're just lazy, you don't feel like reading or even listening to my video, then the fact sheet is for you. So this just, shows the expense ratio, net assets, fund inception. They launched October 19th, obviously pretty damn recent from when I'm making this video. And that's it. That is the fact sheet. Does not have a lot. And so what is the conclusion that I have? To me, this is, again, a day trader's dream. Because if you know what you're doing with day trading and you're good at it, you can make money. But if you're like me, just an income investor, again, this does not produce income. I know people were asking me that. Like, how do you make money on this? You make money by day trading it. If you hold this, it doesn't produce income. It doesn't sell covered calls. It doesn't sell puts. It doesn't do any options for you. This is just for funds. Again, I'll explain it again. Let me get the names here. Okay, so TSLT. This is the long Tesla daily target ETF, right? So this, if you hold this one and Tesla goes up 10% in a day, you would go up 20% in a day. Same thing with the inverse. Except the opposite. If Tesla goes up, and again, this is ticker TSLZ. If Tesla goes up 10% for that day, you would be down 20%. But if Tesla goes down 10% for that day, you would be up 20%. Same thing with the NVDA ones. Obviously, the long for NVIDIA is NVDX, and the inverse is NVDQ. So again, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully, that straightens things out. But what you can also do with these is you can sell calls. But again, you can sell puts or calls, and I'm sure the premium would be a lot because it'll be double volatile. However, the way these work on a daily basis and the reallocation and the rebalancing, I'm not touching it. So I'm sorry, I can't do it. But if you're a day trader, this is all for you. So have fun with it. And if you're a day trader and you're using these, I want to know how you're doing so far. So leave a comment and, share. I'm not against different strategies. It's just I don't do what I'm not comfortable with. So it doesn't make sense for me to risk it and lose money. I'm getting a little old now to be taking that type of crazy ass risk when I'm not comfortable with it. I want to sleep at night, sleep a little more than I am. But yeah, so that's the fund, and hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video, click like, and yeah, share it too if you want. Why the hell not? All right, guys, I'm out of here. Later.